Today on the Ave Podcast, the annual, and this is one of my favorite episodes that I do every year. And yes, it's that time of year. It's the State of the Raptors Address, the 2022 version, where I'm joined by my SSA family members, Julian, a.k.a. Jules Da Commish, and Randall Walter, as we break down all things Raptors. We break down Fred VanVleet's All-Star season. We discuss the surprising and happily unexpected success of Scottie Barnes' rookie year. We dissect Pascal Siakam hopping back into that spicy P mode. Are we allowed to bring that back? Is that nickname still a thing? I don't even know at this point. But anyways, we also wonder out loud if Masai in the front office should have done a little more for the stretch run. And then we veer into a Nick Nurse versus Dwayne Casey conversation. We dive into the deep waters of Raptors history and which former players still put a bad taste in our mouths and everything else Raptors. It's all Raptors, everything on this one. And if you haven't been following this team as much as you like or you should this year, you've come to the right damn place. You've come to the right damn place. Kick back and enjoy, please, please, please. Especially if you're parents that took off time this week for March break to be with your sweet and wonderful kids. Make them go play something while you kick it with us. Solid parenting advice, I know. And from a parent, no less. SSA Family is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that like and favorite button, rate, review, and leave comments while you're subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. And if you haven't, what? Get that done. And hit me with them 5 stars while you're at it, too. Bless your hearts. And also my catalog, my deep catalog. You know where you can get that, right? SSA.com. You'll find everything that I've done right there at SSA.com. All right? Before we begin, we here at SSA like to show love, spread love. It's the South Shore way. Everyone loves to give flowers, bouquets now, 12-stem roses, and all that to everybody. But, I got to the store late. And due to the short supply, the bouquets they have left at the store cost as much as a tank of gas. So, I had to walk out. So instead of the flowers, I'm just going to go out of my way and just show love to my SSA family member, my brother from another, and literally my oldest friend that I've known almost since birth, Randall Walter. You see, in his past life, he was a football brother, and he loved to hit people. And he did it well enough that he parlayed that into a scholarship. And to see him in his new life as a head coach, a basketball coach for the young players coming up and having that passion for it and continuing to chase new paths is real cool to see. His Team Excel Hoops program just won the National Junior Championships this weekend. How can I not see and acknowledge his journey, right? Right? He's continuing to do his thing, and I wanted to show love and raise my glass to the COO of Team Lightskin for seriously doing what he's continuing to do. And, brother, we salute you, sir. We salute you for doing all that you do. Salute. All right, let's get this thing started. It's the Ave Podcast on SSA Radio. Team Lightskin, fair beta light, we all we got. Fair beta light, we all we got. The fraternity call will make sense in a minute, I promise you.
Welcome to the Ave Podcast with Cal C on SSA Radio.
Welcome to the Ave Podcast, where I'm joined annually by my SSA family members, Julian, a.k.a. Jules Da Commish, and Team XL Hoops AAU program representative, Randall Walter. How the two of you guys doing today?
I'm good, sir.
Good. We back at it. What year is this, guys?
6. Year 6.
6 years.
6.
Damn, Julian, we're doing this before we had our younger kids,
And before the Raptors were even relevant.
before the Raptors were relevant. But we've always been Raptor fans before they're relevant.
100.
No.
I think more than anyone, you and I, we take the mantle for that.
100%. And nobody can ever say anything otherwise.
No, because there was some long dark periods where guys were jumping off the bus, and we were sitting there, and I'll speak for myself, but I was always bitching, because I was a Casey fan, so I'm not scared to admit that. So I am not scared to admit that.
You still fly his flag.
I still fly, and you know what? I smile every time he beats the Raptors, even though I'm a Raptor fan.
Oh God, yeah.
Which we'll get into that part in a moment, but Let me just say this real quick. Like with the way the world has been the last 2 years, it's been hard for everybody. Of course, we were kind of talking about it a little bit offline. Even though there's now light at the end of the tunnel of the world coming back to normal, there's a threat out there that's endangering the position of some of my family members and loved ones. And there's no easy way to say this, but there's a threat amongst Team Lightskin. Michael Ealy's back. Michael Ealy's back.
Oh God!
I just watched the last 2 episodes, Randall, of Bel Air.
My God!
The presence of Michael Ealy right now is a threat to Team Lightskin. I'm Team Darkskin. I don't care. I shouldn't care, but you my brother, dog, and you've been holding down that CEO position for a minute now. You fought everybody off the corner office, man. You run the corner office. You got all the big windows. This green-eyed bastard's gonna come back with all his barbershop movies. Like he wants to come back. He's trying to separate Chocolatey Aunt Viv from Uncle Phil right now. I ain't having it, Randall. I ain't having it.
Calvin, there's levels to this light skinness, man. You know what I mean? There's levels to it. You know what I mean? In all due respect, I would take the CEO mantle and put the crown on my head because I think I have a balance. I'm not overly to the sensitive side of Drake. Nor am I, one of those light skin that are pro, 100%, black power. So I'm right in between.
You're right in the pocket.
I'm a good balance that I can smack a light skinned kid across his head and say, "Stop that! Stop licking your lips. I'm a man. Don't lick your lips at me." You know what I mean? No offense to my mans that are femme sweet out there, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you're right in that pocket between Drake and Jesse Williams.
You got it. I'm right in that pocket. I'm right in that pocket.
I got you.
I play my lane well, and you know what I mean. If I ever do get light skinned, it's because I am hella drunk. That's and I'm sure there's a lot more dark skinned guys that get more light skinned than me.
Which for you, with things opening back up, is coming to a Caravan near you, 2022. That might happen just now. That might happen just now.
Let me stress, I am a married man.
100%. All respect to the Queen. All respect to Queen Walter. All respect to the Queen. But I was gonna lend my services, man. Even though I'm Team Darskin, I was gonna say like, what we gonna do, Randall? What we gonna do? Michael Ealy can't come back to this, man.
Michael Ealy can't come back to this, man.
No, I'm not respecting that. But
Green Eye Assassin.
Nah, yep. and you know what? Speaking of another fair-skinned brother, Julian, your boy Russell Wilson. He's a Bronco.
Yeah.
You know I hate the Seahawks. I'm beaming from ear to ear about this, but I want you to speak your little 30-second piece on Russell Wilson leaving, man. Like. I think is I've told you I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson, even though he plays for the hated Seahawks. But I love his talent, so I think it's a disgrace that they traded him. But I want to hear your thoughts on this real quick.
In football, I have no problem of trading anybody or any player in their prime because that window is so short. And if you saw the haul that we got, man, we got 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds. So initially, I was upset. Like I did know about the rumors about him wanting to leave, Sierra wanted to leave, and we heard that last 2 summers in a row. So, but
why did he want to leave? Why did he want to leave?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of rumors to it, right? And obviously we will never know. But
Sierra didn't want to be there.
Sierra didn't want to be there.
She didn't want to be there, but she wants to be in Denver.
Well, I don't know. No. Like Denver is not much of a. It's not LA or New York or whatnot. But I think they had enough of Seattle. Like Seattle's not, it's a small city. It's a small city. It's on the West Coast, really far West Coast. Yeah, Denver is still out there, but I think if Russell was a single man and all, I don't think he would have cared. Like he's not that type to care what cities, and to be honest, from what it looks like. But anyhow, at the end of the day, he's what is he now? 32? How old is he? I don't even know.
I think like
exactly.
32, 33, I think.
Either or, in that kind of range. And to get what we got for him, like at the same time, QBs can play up to 38, 37. So, and Denver is going to have, they're going to make a run for sure in the next 2-3 years. But it's football, man. You know how it is. Running backs, wideouts, they don't last. Well, wideouts last, but they don't last long. So you got to trade players when you in their prime. So I'm happy with it. I'm actually happy with it.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to one of my one of my homies from Seattle right now. I think he'd try to bite your face off with those comments. They mad. They big mad right now that they lost Russell Wilson. They big mad.
Man, football is a sport that's like every week it changes. You just need like a good draft. You can make a trade.
Yeah.
You know, we can get Watson. I'm not saying we can. I'm not saying we will. But you can make a trade in one day, and then your whole franchise can change. It's not like any other sport where you got to build for like years. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or the right draft pick, like one. You know, the next Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert is might be with that pick, right?
Yeah. And it may not be this draft; it could be the next draft, right?
Yeah,
football's different. Yeah, football's a different animal, a different sport.
Well,
I'm good.
Well, on behalf of the Niners fans, thank you. That's all I'm worried about.
Hey,
thank you.
Hey, man, my Packers just read up on my man, so I'm GOOD good.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that too. But
I was shocked too.
I thought he was
going to the 49. I thought he was going over to UC.
Oh, I was hoping so. Listen. I'm still holding out for Brady, Watson, Roger. I don't listen. Man. I think one of the chat groups I mentioned, like Jimmy G was like the equivalent of like the Office hot chick. You know what I mean? In terms of quarterback is concerned. So I don't care. He's like an Office 9. So I want a real 9. So I don't care. Like he can go. Like they can trade wherever he wants to go. I'm hearing he wants to go to the Colts. Listen, it's open season for any great quarterback to come. To me, it's an instant Super Bowl. You come over here, like if you're like one of those top end quarterbacks. If Brady wants to unretire and finish his career at San Fran, let's go. Let's do it. We ready. We built for it, man. We ready. We ready.
I hear you. I hear you, brother.
Brady's done, man. He ain't coming back.
He's done.
And I don't think if he does come back after a year off, like he would have to come back now.
No, that's what I mean. Training. Yeah, if he doesn't come back we don't want him. He's not gonna. 46 years old. Yeah. Forget it. But if he comes back this summer, like it's still fine. It's still within the rhythm of training for football, so it's still good. He's still, because to me, with football, once you step out of it, they always hear and Randall, you can attest to this. Once you step out of it, like it ain't easy to go back in that sport and take them hits again.
Nope. It's a different type of training, different type of mindset.
Yeah, 100%. So things have changed like a little bit in comparison to last year when we did this podcast. Because last year, the Raptors were playing in front of fans that barely cared about them. They were like 2,500 miles away, and they're just basically waiting for the lottery to start, right? And this season, the Raptors right now, they're as of this recording, they're 35-30. They've barely played in front of fans, but at least these fans care about them, right? And with the addition of Scottie Barnes to the draft, the future looks much brighter at this point than this point last year. So going into the season, I think we had we all had kind of like modest expectations. So as we're here now, what are your expectations going forward, at least for this season? Like from this point, what are your thoughts on the season so far now, and then what are you thinking? Actually, let's just start about what you think about it so far. Like, what do you think of the season so far for the Raptors?
I can say this much: before the season started, I did not think they were going to be making the playoffs. I did not think that. Okay. I did not know how good Barnes was going to be. He is phenomenal. He's a potential rookie of the year. We actually made bets in one of my other chat groups, and I actually said that they won't be making the playoffs. That's what I said before the season started. So what they're doing now, to me, is surprising. It's not overachieving because Barnes is legit. Like, he's like the real deal in my eyes right now. And where they are at is because of Barnes. But that being said, like I think they will make the playoffs. They are at least they might finish 6th, lowest 9th. Like, you can be one of those like bubble teams. Yeah. But what they're doing now is phenomenal to the players on the roster. I think they are over. I don't want to say the word overachieving, but it's definitely not what I had expected.
Yeah, what about you, Rand?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to really a testament to Masai and Bobby Webster of how they thought outside the box to construct this roster. Like, all of us were in the same boat. I'm with Julian. I did not think they were going to make the playoffs this year. I thought they'd be close to it, you know, and I thought they would probably finish the season stronger like they always do. But the synergies started coming on later in the first half of the season when guys, I think we had a lot of injury bugs, a lot of rookies, a lot of new players kind of finding their role. But I feel like the team has really come along and gelled. And I like the experiment they put together with all the kind of going at that, you know, quote unquote length roster overall, interchangeable pieces at every position. And I think they're going to start a new wave of that, a new trend. The interesting thing about this team is they're coming into the second half on fire, right? And if they can make the playoffs, I'm gonna tell you all this. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the second round or maybe even conference finals. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, just because a lot of their strategies predicated on defense. They could switch from at least the 3 to the 5, right? Nurse is known to have, even though I'm not a huge Nurse fan, he's known to have a lot of good counter adjustments in his bag, and I have a good feeling that this roster can do something towards the end of the season. Are they going to win the championship? No, but I think the East is balanced out enough that they can make a noise and give someone some trouble.
I know. Did you want to jump in, Julian? I thought you.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, to Rand's point, I agree, and that we just got to stay healthy, because one thing that we are missing or lacking is depth, and just, you know, in the last like 3-4 games at this midway point, I think OG's been hurt, VanVleet's been hurt, and it has, you know, exposed us. Like, we have no other ball handlers on the team. You know, we got like Scottie Barnes playing point guard and Siakam playing point guard, and we have no depth. You know, and we're making guys like Boucher and Precious play like, you know, like 25, 30 minutes, and it's not working. It's not working. So if we stay healthy, I think we can definitely cause some noise and get into the second round for sure.
Now, I feel for the Raptors because, first of all, for them, you know, they've played the least amount of games in front of fans the last 3 years than any team in the league by far. You know, they spent all their time in the bubble, of course. Then, of course, they were the Tampa Bay Raptors all of last year. And then this year, there have been so many fan restrictions due to the Ontario's COVID lockdown measures that, what did they play, at least 6 weeks with no to like minimal fans? Like that, That's got to be tough to endure. Like, I don't know about you guys, if you guys have played like, you know, in front of an arena that size, like playing basketball. Like I when I was at Ryerson, I had a chance to do that a couple of times where we had our exhibition game either before the Raptors or after the Raptors game. That shit it's cold, man. Like it's cold in a big empty arena. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially like those hockey arenas. And you gotta like generate your own energy at home, you know, which is, I think, is extremely tough to do mentally when you don't have fans there. So I think more than anything, I truly commend them for just persevering, you know, just through that to be able to still be in this position that they're in. Just the fact that they're in the 7th spot, because some teams would crater from that, you know, be complaining about, you know, man, like we're not playing in front of fans, and who knows, maybe they are, but like they're pushing through it. You know what I mean? But
right.
But I commend them for that, because I think that's like a big thing, and they had a pretty good stretch during those, especially those weeks when there was no fans, like over the holidays or past the holidays and stuff, where they were winning a lot of those home games, I believe. So I give them props for that. But up until yesterday, they lost like 5 of the last 6 games. You know, I think it could be a little problematic if they don't get OG back soon. I know they just got like VanVleet, and he was looking like the all-star that he was yesterday, at least, like, against the Spurs. But So
OG's supposed to be back. He's supposed to be back like in another week or 2. So it was just a fracture of fingers. So he's supposed to be back. So, which is good. So it's not like a long-term injury. So we'll see.
But see, to your point about playing in an empty arena, I think, at least from what I observed and just my experience, is teams with, like, we have a younger roster. right? I think more seasoned vets get it impacts seasoned vets more. But when you play in those bubble type atmospheres, I feel like because we have a younger roster, they don't know what they don't know, right? So it's like similar to like was it the Suns in the bubble? Just a young roster, and they, like all the young teams in the bubble did really well. And I feel like the Raptors are young enough, not impressionable
That's a good
yet,
point.
And they're able to kind of adapt to that right now. So
yeah, because I remember the Suns. I think they went undefeated in the bubble, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they even lost. So it's a good point. That's a good point. But it's interesting to see where they may lay. Like I think I think we all kind of had them out of the playoffs. I think even when we did our the preview that we do every year, I think they were I believe we had them 10th. I believe we had them 10th. You know what I mean? So they're
nobody
at the very edge of the play-in. Yeah, they're at the very edge of the play-in.
I was going to say nobody could have told me. Nobody did tell me that Scottie Barnes was going to be this good, and nobody knew this. There's no way anybody thought he was going to be potentially Rookie of the Year. There's no way.
Well, hold on, Ju.
Let's save the Scottie Barnes point because I do have a section on him. Well, we'll come back to him because I don't disagree with you with that.
Yeah.
Rand, don't tell me you knew he was
No,
I
didn't.
okay.
No, I wasn't going to say that. What I was going to say was that I thought that Jalen Suggs should have been our pick.
Okay, fair enough. I thought so too. We all did.
I thought Jalen. But at the same time, I think when he was drafted, we all understood why he was drafted. And because of his skill set, right, because the core of the Raptors are together, his skill set complements the core. Right, I think if he would have went to another team like Orlando, he probably would have done okay, but I don't think he would have been as good with those players around him. I think his intangibles fit our system and exactly what they were looking to do, which makes way more sense.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. But the wing spreading, I want to get into a Fred VanVleet is probably one of the biggest highlights of the year so far. Especially with Kyle leaving, finally giving up that throne. Fred now is a full-fledged leader. He's become the all-star this season. He's averaging 21-7, and his shooting rates is really great. I think it's 41 from the field, 40 from three, 88% from the line. And he's never played better. He's carrying the team on his back at times through the injuries and lack of fans in the arena. But with that said, is there another level to his game, or do you think this is the best we're going to see from Fred? And I'll start with you, Rand, because I know you're a huge VanVleet fan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I took my lumps initially because I'm not a big fan of small point guards, especially in the NBA. But he's obviously shown that he can hang and more than hang, win championships and as well carry a team. He runs the team very well. I think he's a la Kyle Lowry mold, right? He's spent some time behind him. He's developed under him. He kind of has the same grit and attitude and game. And I think, is he going to take his game to another notch? No, but I think as a point guard, he's doing everything he can to make his team better and people around him better. And that's what I want him to continue to do, right? Him going off, I don't really care. He can do that. We've seen that. But can he make Scottie better? Can he make OG better? Can he make who else Precious better? Can he make that core better? And I think he can, right? And that's what I'm expecting out of him. I still think we need another backup. Continue pushing him to. For him, it's more not taking it to another level. It's that portion, also sustainability. Could he be consistent and sustainable with his play? Because we're playing him a ton of minutes and he's starting to break down. So we need someone that can come off the bench and push him to keep playing that way, right?
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Everything what Rand just said, man. I think there's still room for his game to grow. But I have always said the most important part of his game is his leadership, and what he brings to the team off the court. I think everybody follows his lead, his composure. When he speaks, everybody listens, and you need a floor general like that. And we have our floor general. That's a point guard. You can't you can have an Embiid as a floor general, but ideally you want your point guard to be that person. And I think that's the intangible that it goes underrated with a lot of players. Like for him, I think that skill set is underrated. Like I don't think a lot of people appreciate not just his, but like stars across the league that can do that. You can be athletic and you can be highly touted from college and all this stuff, but you come in a game, you come into the NBA and you have no cerebral, no court sense, and all that athleticism means nothing to me. All your shooting ability means nothing to me. So that's one thing I think VanVleet has. That he's not obviously he's not the most athletic person, and he's not the fastest, but he knows where to be. He knows how to set plays. He knows how to get the team organized and whatnot. So I think that's the most important tangible. So I think with him having that, he will always be able to elevate his game because he's just going to get smarter, right? Most players
like Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kyle was never that guy in the first 3-4 years, right? After that experience, and he understood what he had to do, and he does credit your boy Coach Casey for that, right? In terms of understanding the game, right? And then once you understood the game, he was able to elevate his game. And that's another thing Joel tells me too. Like, he coaches in the minor leagues and stuff like that. He goes, that's the biggest difference. These kids don't understand the game, where to be, how to read a play. And those little things will get you drafted, Ethan. Like, those little things will get you to the NBA along with your athleticism or your skill set. And they just are not, it's hard to teach that IQ. He said, that's the hardest thing to do, he said. And I think with VanVleet, he has it. He has it, man. So he has a chance to grow, and he has a chance to be a leader. And I think he's your prototypical point guard for a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, to add to you guys' point, like he just turned 28 years old. He's 6 years in. He's entering the prime years right now where he's taking control. And I'm not sure what his ceiling or what it's going to be, but I think barring any like unforeseen, health issues or major injuries, I can see his prime being prolonged a little bit just due to how skilled his offense and his confidence is. You know what I mean? Like, he already has a championship experience, even though he was a backup player at the time. We hit some big shots during, in 2019. And with his style of play in terms of the way he plays, and he plays bigger than what he is, like, I think he has a little more room to his ceiling than people think. Like, him and Pascal are the OGs of the team at this point. But what I love about what I love about Fred, like, all the knowledge and all the information he's learned from Kyle was major, but I think they approach the game different. They have that dogged mentality, but Kyle's the one that's always going to be barking at the refs, almost getting technicals, complaining. He may show up moody to some games. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Fred's maturity and his progression, like it kind of translates to how he moves on the floor. Like, it's almost like a sense of calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and to me, that it's why it makes him a leader, and I think he could be an outstanding leader. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he already is.
Yeah,
he is.
He is. You're right. He is right now. Yeah, you're right.
An undrafted leader. That's the thing too. Like, he had to work. He had to grind his way. Nothing was really given to him, and that that shows in his character as well, right? How he approaches the game and whatnot. So he is a leader, man. And to be honest with you, I didn't even think he will ever be an all-star. So even if he doesn't get to that next level that we're talking about, he's already at a level that I didn't think he would ever get to be honest.
Right.
With you.
Yeah. Right.
He's an all-star.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
And legit, like, I don't think it's a one-time, he's gonna get an all-star, it's a fluke thing. Like, no, like, I think he could be that for a little while. Now the guards are in the league right now are at an all-time high, but yeah. I think he could, you're not going to be surprised if, like, next year he's back at the All-Star game again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that would be shocking. Like, to your point, though, like, the whole chip on your shoulder thing, it's already embedded just in the fact that he was undrafted, right? Like, he's
100%.
He's carried that with him for the last. He's maybe actually it's still he still carries that with him. It's not maybe.
For sure.
The presence isn't as major as it was probably before because he's solidified now, but it's still there. You know what I mean?
He's taking nothing for granted. He knows what he had to do to get to this point.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? And he knows, he could have been out of the NBA. Like, he could have been playing overseas. Like, this stays in his head, man. And I think it contributes to his character right now. It's never going to leave him. It's going to be a part of him for the rest of his career.
But think about it, though. Right? Like, Like, you think about him when he just came in the league. He was essentially like a G League All-Star, for the 905. And I still remember that playoff series against Cleveland where I don't know if that was a series where LeBron was just hitting endless fadeaways while he was killing the Raptors, but it was like, but I remember there was a sequence where like he had to keep getting guarded by like he was keep guarding LeBron, and like LeBron was just treating him like he was just sunning him every time. You know what I mean? So you're just like,
who, VanVleet? He was guarding LeBron
on a couple of occasions. Like probably like some switches or something, like pick and rolls or switches.
It was switches. It was
switches. But it was
OG was covering him.
Yeah, so he probably got switched off. I'm not saying like he was like I got LeBron, like he just got switched off.
Yeah.
But the way LeBron was sunning him, you're just like, man, like like. You hope this guy's going to maintain in the league. So to see from that progression to where he is now, it's like, shit, man. I think it's great. And honestly,
LeBron. Well, you got LeBron.
Listen,
you got LeBron stunning him. What do you like? You can't be
what
upset
I'm trying
with
to say?
that.
Like I'm talking about where he started from. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm surprised that LeBron did it. Of course, it's LeBron, but I'm saying like where he started from.
Making sure
to where he is now. It's awesome.
Guys, tailor your expectations because he's been playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah,
it's been a trend, and for a guy his stature to play that amount of minutes day in day out, and he's that type of guy like Larry that's like they just keep waking up every day and playing. But I still don't think he has that Larry body. Like Larry had like he was hefty, and he had that thickness, he had that strongness.
Boy.
He had even when he lost weight, he still was kind of that strength is what made him a benefit to his game. But I don't think VanVleet has that. And he's breaking down now. He's breaking down.
But I think he's more so breaking down because of the minutes.
Right.
Like, not because of the style of play.
Physicality.
Like Lowry took charges, and he was, like, diving and, in the key and all that.
He'll guard bigs on the block. He'll guard post.
Yeah. You couldn't even post Lowry, like, guys like that. But VanVleet is breaking down because of the minutes. The minutes are killing him, and he's not the most athletic guy. Like, kind of, he doesn't. To be honest, he looks kind of like he has that like fat gene. And sorry, I have to say it. Like, he looks like he has that chubby gene. He's not really muscular.
Right.
So, although ligaments and all that is totally different from muscle, but the point is that I don't think as to Rand's point, he's built for all those minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. Like, that's why they need another ball handler. If anything happens at the end in this offseason, they have to bring another ball handler without a doubt. Either a backup point guard or another two guard that can dribble.
When is the buyout done? The buyout window?
No, it's still there. I think you can do it right up until maybe like a week or two before the playoffs. I think. But
who are you thinking of, Rand? Like, is it somebody that you're thinking of?
Well, no. I like when can you buy out? Like you can. Buy out I thought there was a deadline for that.
No, I think I think you're still in the time frame to do it. I think if you can still pick up guys right now.
Okay, yeah, because if there's like there's a few out there that I can think of just off the top of my head. One is, I mean, I'm not a fan of him, but he's someone that can help. Is Bledsoe?
No, okay, yeah, I see. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of him, but
but they need somebody like that. They need somebody like a Bledsoe. To be honest,
Bledsoe. The guy I love, and you guys know it, and I don't know if they're going to buy it out. He just doesn't fit their roster. Is my man Schroeder.
Oh,
who?
That wasn't the guy I was thinking you were going to say.
Schroeder.
You guys know I love Dennis Schroeder. I mean, everyone laughs, but I think him on the Raptors off the bench, you're going to see OKC Schroeder in this system.
He would fit for our team. I'm not a fan of him, but he would fit. Anybody that can dribble the ball, bring up the ball up the court, would fit right now.
No, I wouldn't say anybody. I wouldn't say anybody, because Dragic was horrible with us.
Yeah, but off the bench,
but he also didn't want to play here, though, too.
Yeah.
I think Dragic would have been fine if he wanted to play here, but he didn't want to play.
And coming off the bench and in a limited role, right? Those two things: wanted to play and know his role. But we have nobody, Rand. We have literally nobody. VanVleet went down, and we lost.
No, we have Malachi Flynn.
Oh yes, Malachi. No, you know what? Listen, okay. Malachi is not suitable for a playoff game, though. Let's be real.
I was being facetious, man.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to knock the man. He did look.
I know I know y'all cracking on him, but I kind of like him. Am I wrong for thinking that?
I don't like him.
I don't like him. But that being said, he looked good in the minutes and given the opportunity. He just hasn't been given the opportunity. When I say I don't like him as a first round pick. Like if he was like a G Leaguer or second round or something, that's why that's how I'm rating him, right? Like if he was like a journeyman, then I'd be like, yeah, he's decent, but not as a first round pick. I don't like what he.
I mean, late in the first round though, but you know.
Yeah, I know. Fair enough, right? You're still a first round pick, so there's some expectations. But that being said, he hasn't been really given the opportunity, so I'm not going to really chastise him or criticize him to say he hasn't developed. He hasn't been given any minutes by Nurse. So, and when he has played, he has looked decent, serviceable, and I don't want to be hard on him too hard, but maybe Nurse sees something that we don't see, right? I don't know. In practice, I don't know.
Something's going on in practice because the last couple of years, you're like that stretch that he played, you're kind of like, okay, maybe he deserves to play a little bit more. You know what I mean? Let's just see how far this goes. You know, I'm not saying like he's going to get 20, 25 minutes a night, but I'm kind of like, can he play a little more? You know what I mean? Like
I don't see him in Raptors' long-term plans. That's
no. I think he's probably going to get traded.
And Nurse is not a fan of his game, or of him, period. Of his dad, of his family, of him, something he's not a fan of. That's clear as day. Listen, Banton just came in and started taking his minutes.
I know.
You know,
I was gonna mention. I like Banton. I think he just needs a little bit more development, but I like him.
I do too.
Yeah, he surprised me too. I didn't think he'd be that good. Like honestly, he kind of has struggled. He hit the wall a little bit there going into this midway mark,
which is expected.
Which is totally expected, right? And but the great thing about it, like he's gaining experience, right? And with this experience, and then going into the off season, he's gonna have so much confidence knowing that he played a year in the league. He played, he started. I don't think he started the game, but like he had minutes. He was part of the rotation, and this off season he's going to come back in the second year ready to take minutes and play well. So I like
G League, man. That G League development, he's doing really well in the G League.
Really well
down
there, and kills it down there,
killing it, right? And that's what we want. That's what we need. Listen, he reminds me of what's the my mind Wright. What's his name? DeLon Wright. He kind of has the length. Can't really shoot that, kind of streaky, but gets down, attacks downhill, can see the floor, finishes at the rim pretty well for his length. Pretty good defender so far. Needs some work on his off-ball defending, but on balls he's not bad because he's length and very lengthy. But I think he has the potential to be a rotational player, and I like what I see so far. And what I like about him is you could also play him, like you can match him well with VanVleet, because to me VanVleet's a good point guard, but he's more of a two guard in a point guard's body. Having a guy like Delano who's more of a two guard body but has more of that facilitating game, I like the matchup, with both of them on the floor as well. So
agreed.
Yeah, it's like a poor man. It's like a poor man Sean Livingston. Like what Sean Livingston been when he's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. That vein,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I see it. I like him. I like him a lot. But that's the thing with the Raptors, right? Like they are, when it comes to the development of young players in the G League, and they're A1, man. Like I think them in Miami for the last few years they've been the top of the hierarchy when it comes to developing young talent, right? I don't think anybody can really even knock that. Like it's just where it is.
No.
Right? You know what I mean? Like that's where they are. Like and
drafting.
Drafting. Like they're gonna do well in the draft. They're gonna unearth those gems, and they're gonna develop the hell out of those guys in the G League. So when they're ready to come on the big stage, they're ready to hit their mark. You know what I mean? Like it's I mean from VanVleet and like remember like 2017 VanVleet, Siakam, Norman Powell. They were like the G League MVPs, and then 3 years later they're contributing to the championship. The championship basically, right? So.
Yeah. But one thing I got to say, though, man, is, and I was thinking about this the other day, as good as the Raptors are with identifying talent, especially more through the draft, finding gems.
Don't bring up
Bruno.
Bruno.
They also, no, but no, I'm not going to bring up Bruno. That's an anomaly. But I think, sometimes you got to swing for the fences and hope you're going to get a Giannis. And I mean, I hated it at the time, but I understood. What I was going to say is that they've made I feel like they always strike out when it comes to free agency. They strike out, and they strike out hard. Man, listen.
I'm trying to think right now.
The Matt Thomases of the world, the Carrolls of the world. Like, not even, I don't think was Carroll Messiah? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was Messiah.
Yeah, but like think of all the guys they brought in that just failed. and you're terrible, and then got 0 minutes. All of them are free agents. Any guy they brought in, they just don't. I feel like they're filling in gaps, and the gaps are always terrible. Like even like that. What's it called? What's his name? The guy I couldn't stand. Stanley Johnson. Like, come on, man.
Baines last year. Aaron Baines last
terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. But you know,
they could get better. Only guy that was good was when they had the championship run. They got Gasol. That was a loaner, and they got
that was a trade.
Really,
that was a trade.
That was a trade. Sorry, and even Ibaka was a trade.
Yeah.
But anyone they sign as a free agent, terrible.
Which is a fair assessment, but we're working with limited. You know, we're not a major market. You know, I'm not going to go through all that right now. But that being said, we're always going to have to sign a tier 5 or 4 type player.
Yeah, right? But I still think there are players up for grab that the Raptors could sign and that can, you know, contribute. I'm not saying you need to get an all-star. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we need that on this roster. I think we need just depth. Like there's guys like there's a lot of guys you can go after that were available. Even buyout options at a time, and then they're coming off decent seasons, and they just don't. They go after the Jeremy Lins of the world. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you there. You know, you can't be perfect, man. Like I mean, like Masai has been good in all those other areas, but yeah, that's where he has definitely failed. No, I'm not gonna argue there.
Speaking of which, though, and you know we were discussing him earlier, but we may as well get to it now. You know, he did. You know, for coming into this season, Masai did nail it down with Scottie Barnes. Now,
man,
yeah, let's talk about it because I think we can all say pretty much. I don't think any of us expected him to be this good.
Not at all.
That's my question.
And I'll let Julian. You already heard what I said. But I was
just gonna go back to my VanVleet point of being like cerebral and smart, and I didn't think he was this smart. You know what I'm saying? Like he's on the floor and he's directing. Like he knows the playbook. Like and he knows where to be. He knows when to make that pass. He knows when to make that extra pass.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's not selfish in terms of trying to score everything. No. He's not trying to win Rookie of the Year. Like I'm sure he is, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's not trying to do it all.
He's not going 6 for 20 trying to go.
But at Florida State, that's what he was like too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see much of him.
System. Yeah, I didn't see much until after, right? Because I wasn't expecting the Raptors to get him. But afterwards, when I started looking at something, I was like, okay. I mean, he wasn't as I think he played his role well at Florida State. I don't think they utilized him to his full potential. But you have to understand, Scottie's been identified his whole life from probably like 14 years old.
Yeah.
He's played on Team USA. He's gotten the training.
Randall, not arguing any of that.
Mount Verde. He's on Mount Verde.
Mount Verde.
He was supposed to go in the top 10. So listen, I'm not saying anything. Like I know he was supposed to be good. He was supposed to be a lottery pick. So I'm not saying.
But in the same vein, Julian, what I'm trying to say is that he's always been touted to be like essentially growing up. They were saying he's a second coming of Magic Johnson. Like because he's really a point guard in a four-man's body. Like that's his game, and we're seeing that. Like he can facilitate, and he's always been like everyone says it from any team he's played on. He's probably one of the best teammates you're ever gonna have because he's vocal. You can't that's
see that is huge.
I wish all my players were vocal.
I know.
Like just communication and not fake communication. You know, not like you know. And see, you know this when you play ball, like. You know, you'd say, I got pain, I got mad. That's fake communication. I'm talking like, yo, go over there. Yo, Julian, corner. You know, that's communication. And he does that. He does that. That's maturity. That's another notch of the game of either A, he's been taught well, been in the right program, the right system, and somebody has ingrained that in his head because he is an extrovert, right?
Yeah, he is.
VanVleet's not he's an introvert, right? But you can tell that he's worked at his craft to be vocal. But Scottie's natural, right? You could see him joking around, dancing at halftime, you know, taking pom-poms in front of cheerleaders.
But he's vocal on the court with purpose, with sense, with intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Not vocal like Dwight Howard bullshit vocal or Vince Carter bullshit, like, you know, like laughing, like on the court. Like when he's on the court, he's like serious, and I love it. Off the court, he's goofing around and all that. He's living life, which I like too. But I just love that when he's on the court, he's not bringing it. I honestly thought in the training camp before the season started, I go, this guy's going to be annoying the fuck out of everybody. Like the way he's carrying on, laughing, joke. And I was like, this is not going to bode well with OG, VanVleet. Siakam's kind of quiet. You know what I'm saying? That's not how they are. And I thought that it was going to be like to a point where it wasn't going to mesh with the team. But when he got on the floor, he's totally different. He's serious. He's a leader. And he leads by example by his play. And I'm like, what? I go, man, this is unbelievable. To have somebody that smart and that athletic with those measurements is rare.
100%.
And we got something great. And I don't know what they saw, but they saw something right. Toronto in terms of how they drafted and not because they knew they were going to take a lot of heat for not taking Suggs. They tried to trade down. And they couldn't get that trade down. And they still drafted him over Suggs. And I love it.
But Julian, furthermore to that, what impressed me the most is the first time I've ever seen a player get drafted by Toronto and actually was happy about it.
Yeah.
He was amped up, let's go. I'm ready. This is great.
Yeah. And that's another great sign.
Yeah.
Even OG was not even happy when he got drafted by Raptors.
This guy's not happy for anything though. Let's be real. He's not jovial.
Outside of his scarves.
He's not happy about anything. But yeah, you're right. That too. That is huge. That he wants to be here. He doesn't care where he's playing. He wants to, he doesn't mind learning a new culture or living in another country. He doesn't care. He just wants to play. You know what I'm saying? And that's rare to find. And that's a sign of intelligence, a sign of maturity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Precious on the Raptors. I'm not a big fan of Precious, right? And he was highly touted since high school too. Everything, not as high as Scottie, but since high school he was touted.
Oh yeah, from Memphis. When he went to Memphis, that was a big
deal. Right?
Huge deal.
I don't know where he got drafted in, what first round something, but I don't know. But he's been touted from 14 as well, one of those. But his game is not where it should be at because of his intelligence level. He just makes mistakes after mistakes. He cannot see the floor. He just looks like he's just not. He's not focused. I don't know what it is, but it just shows you how important that is to be that elite player or that rookie of the year or that all-star. You got to be smart. You can't just have a good jump shot or be able to jump through the roof. You gotta know where to be and how to anticipate, and when to make that play. And Precious doesn't have it. I just want to make that example. He was highly touted as well, but maybe for the wrong reason. I don't know if they got to be a way to assess these guys' IQ levels, man. I mean, basketball IQ levels. There's got to be a better way, and that would help in terms of finding that right player.
Film. I mean,
you're right.
And you saw it when he was at Memphis. Remember, Memphis was touted at that time. That recruiting class was all world, right? And they made the tourney, but I think they got knocked out early. Had a dismal season. And a lot of it was predicated on, like you said, Precious was the man on that team, remember? And he just couldn't carry them. Not maturity. He just knowledge of the game. I think he's just a guy that knows how to play well. He has skills. Don't get me wrong.
He does.
Few games I was really impressed with what I've seen with him. But overall, I think again it's about knowing the game at another level.
You got it. And that's, I hate to say it, it's IQ. It's not just basketball IQ. I think it's the ability to learn. You know what I'm saying? You could teach somebody algebra and over, they're not going to get it. It's like trying to teach somebody to dribble a ball or to skate. They're not going to get it. Some people have talents and other things. And I think it's hard to find that total package of an athlete, of a star player. Smart, athletic, team player, punctual, all those things is just hard to find. And I'm only highlighting Precious just to show you the difference because he may have the same talents of Scottie Barnes. I'm telling you, he could. Yeah. He could. Same height. Maybe he can have a better shot right now. But he's nowhere near as good. He's nowhere near as good because he doesn't have the IQ.
What's crazy about Scottie is, like, I'm kind of with you guys. I didn't see him play at all in college. I had no idea how he was going to look. You know, I mean, you look at his stats in college, he averaged, 10 a game? You know what I mean? But
no, not much.
Yeah, but he was Florida State's point guard when he was there. And, you know, when Masai took him instead of Suggs, you know, I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. But, you know, the whole in Masai we trust theory, you know, I didn't question it really too hard, right? But I was stunned by his energy and his motor in the preseason, you know, which it coincided with some of my basketball peoples and stuff who were like saying like, yo, like this is a great pick because like he's same thing you guys were saying. I guess they saw him playing like, you know, college or some of them coaching in AAU and stuff for like, you know, he's got an intelligence and a motor that like it's gonna make him a star, you know. And like I watched this game for about 2 weeks. And I don't even know. I've heard some people say this, but I was thinking this like after about 2 weeks of watching the Raptor games, and I was thinking to myself, man, this guy he's got some shades of Kawhi in him. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, he's got a similar type of body. He's long. You know, the potential for him to be a devastating defender is there. You know, because rookies are always gonna get dusted. The first or second year, you're always gonna get handled as, even if you're coming in as a great defensive prodigy, you're always going to get handled the first couple of years. You got to get used to the league, right? You got to get used to the talent, the speed, the players, the strength. You got to get used to it all. But like the fact that like even the first time they played Brooklyn, like he's like, I want Durant. You know what I mean? He's Durant. Like I love that. Like he's going after Harden. Like I love that. Like I love the potential for him to be there. And then on top of that, he's strong like a bull already. You know what I mean? Like, and he hasn't even gotten that NBA man strength yet. But like you know, like Kawhi, like, you know, when you look at Kawhi, especially now, not when he came into the league, but like when you look at him now, he's not a big, huge dude, but he's stacked. Like he's a real strong guy. And right now, so was Scottie. You know, so and I think he's way more animated and way more energetic than Kawhi. But like, and I think even talent-wise, offensively at least, I think he's further along than even like somebody like Kawhi was when he just got into the league, when he just got to the Spurs. But like I think what like kind of like Kawhi in terms of the similarities, he's got to just like, you know, like smooth out those rough edges. But once he gets that confidence, like, you know, to like offensively to just go, and he gets that full green light. Because that was the one thing with Kawhi too when he was in the Spurs. Like once he got that green light to like go offensively, like he became a superstar. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everything clicked. And you know, it's way too early to predict when that was going to happen for Scottie. But I think honestly, in the next 5 years, I think he has the potential to be just as devastating as Kawhi could be. You know what I mean? Especially if he gets some good playoff reps in him. You know what I mean? Like not to like mimic another player, but I think that there's potential there for him to be like really devastating in ways that like I don't think we were even expecting. As much as we like his talent, like in 5 years, I can see ourselves being like, holy shit. Like, yo, this guy, we damn near have a superstar on this team. Like, good God. You know what I mean? Like, I can see us saying this in about 5 years.
I was just worried about, like, Masai was trying to reach for another Giannis type player. Mm-hmm. No, like he reached. No. I'm just saying, like, because he tried it with Bruno, right? Like, I thought.
Yeah, but that was late in the draft, Julian.
No. But,
that was a first round pick,
again,
though.
Yeah, but
exactly.
Not a lot.
No, but the point is, like, I just felt like I was worried that he was reaching, looking for that 6'9", big hands, long arms, 7'10" wingspan. Like, I just thought that he was just looking for that. Like, I just felt I was worried. I was worried. Like, I'm just saying that's what I thought when he drafted him. I was like, Masai, what are you doing? Stop. We're not gonna get a Giannis. There's only one Giannis. Mm-hmm. And that's where my brain was at when they did draft him. I thought he was just trying to find that Giannis.
But you want to know something? Again, like I one of the best draft picks that I think the Raptors got that people don't realize we kind of lucked out in getting him was OG.
Yeah.
OG. Remember, OG got a serious injury in college, and we got him for the low.
We did.
And I feel like Scottie, OG, like Pascal, that vein of player, like those three, that's a pretty, like, give them some time to work and gel. That's going to be dangerous. Like 100%. I still think with that core roster, and maybe you're going to touch on it after, Calvin. Still think we need a PG, and we definitely need to get a big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely need to get a big. I'm happy with. I like the fact that we got Precious because I think we can work on what we have with him, but we need another real big.
Yeah, like a real big, like.
Yeah,
just
right.
One. You don't even need like a bunch. You just
No,
you just need one.
We're good because we have the interchangeable pieces. Like Precious is. I like Precious. Don't get me wrong. I think that he's going to grow with this roster and learn and get. I see he's already improved throughout the season. He started off rough, but I feel like he's coming on the last, right before All-Star break, and he still looked good yesterday. But we need a center. He's not a starter right now.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
And I don't even know if he's a center, to be honest. I don't even know if he's.
No,
his skill set is a center, but we
have 4 players that are power forwards. Like they all play the same position. Let's be real. Like Siakam, even OG may be a little bit Precious. Boucher, like those guys are all like 4s, I think, and we need a 5, and we need another point guard, right? So, I think, Anyhow, but we are using to what we have, right? And honestly, if we really want a 5, we would have to trade somebody from our starting lineup for like a decent one, because the reason why, if we have a 5, like I'm just saying, like a big 5, like just say like a 5 that rebounds, protects the rim, like I don't know, like a Pirtle or something like that. You can't have those guys coming off the bench if we really want to win. And if you make them start, who sits? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to be OG? Is it going to be Pascal? Is it going to be Scottie? Is it going to be Fred? I don't like. That's why I feel like I like our lineup, but I would like it better if we had a 5, like a rebounding shot blocker, run the floor type of 5 that. And so, for example, like a Miles Turner, right? Just a Miles Turner. If we had a Miles Turner, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if we had a Miles Turner, right, that could shoot, block shots, he would have to start. Who comes out of the starting lineup? Who comes out of the starting lineup?
Trent.
It would be probably Trent
right away. Trent.
But then you have I guess Trent. So. It would be Trent coming off the bench with your 6 man.
Easy. Not even a discussion. Like you got to work on.
And I think Trent will be okay with that too.
Yes,
He could starter minutes, but I would say to my boys, I don't care who starts the game. They shouldn't. It's about who finishes it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. But before we move on, though, the one thing I want to add about Scottie that what interests me is that this is kind of why I do hope the Raptors are successful in the play-in if they end up in this position and they make the playoffs, because I want to see like what that does to his development. Like I think it's going to be like a really interesting to see like how a personality like his absorbs that experience, whether he does great or he does poorly, right? Like I think that makes him make that leap faster with his type of work ethic and personality. You know what I mean? Like for him, I would love to see. Honestly, it's funny to say this, but I would love to see him play like not him, but the Raptors play against the Bucks to have that experience. Like for somebody like him guarding Giannis in the playoffs, that playoff atmosphere, especially being on the road, even at home, is completely different than it is in the regular season. The experience of like the importance of every possession. I think that's going to be so major for his development. That's why I'm rooting for the Raptors to make the playoffs. I don't even care what they do, but just for the development of Scottie, I would love to see them push a team to 5 or 6 games, and we'll see what goes on. I think it'll be amazing for him.
It would be amazing for the entire for everybody, but especially for Scott. We don't have a first round pick next year either, right? We traded it for Thaddeus Young, so we're not playing for no picks. Right, so the best case scenario would be just to make the playoffs, gain experience, make some revenue for the ACC, Raptors, like Toronto. So that would be so ideal for the city, the fans, and just for like potential trades or free agents, for next year. And again, of course, for Scottie,
right,
100%.
Now, what do you guys think of Nick Nurse's performance this season? I usually ask this question at this point every year in terms of assessing him, and it's usually pretty positive for the last 4 years that he's been the coach and that we've done this. But what's your assessment of Nick this season?
I'll let Rand go first. Yeah, that's the boy.
Well, I mean, a coach is only as good as his record, right? So I have to give respect where respect is due with all the injuries that's gone on. the amount of overturn and change on the roster, even in the cores together, like they rehauled the bench. They've got a lot more youth length. I think he's done a great job. I think part of that is that I think they recruited or they signed players and they brought in players that fit Nurse's kind of style of play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's done good. Like if I were to give him a grade, I would, probably a B plus, for the fact that he's got the team above 500 in a playoff spot and pretty much on a trajectory to make the playoffs. Once everyone's back to full strength. I think the only criticism I really have is not so much the plays, it's just the fact that, and maybe it's just out of just sheer cause, is the fact that he's just running his main cogs like
into the ground,
the bone, like a Thibodeau. Like he's just playing players way too long. Like you gotta kind of trust a little bit more. It's the NBA, but he's just riding his ponies till they fall down, right? So, and I understand why, right? He's playing to win. He's coaching to win, and that's more on Masai than him and Bobby. But look, I mean, he's done a good job of what he has.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have much else to add, to be honest. Like I'll give him like a B. Yeah, B plus, just because of he doesn't have much to work with. Like, to be very honest with you, I just said earlier that they don't have any depth, man, and he is running those guys into the ground because there's nobody to play. There's no other point guard. Like Flynn could have got a little bit more minutes, but Precious Boucher was playing like hot garbage in the beginning. Precious is who he is. Burgess was hurt. Like, he's still hurt. He's hurt now.
Yeah, he chipped his tooth, right? And broke his tooth?
Yeah, he broke his tooth last game. Poor guy. Yeah. Broke his nose now, tooth.
Did he break? Oh, wow.
So it's like he doesn't have much to work with. So he's running those guys into the ground. So I understand for the short bench. But, so for what it is, all 6'9" guys, he's managed to put them all into the starting lineup rotation. He's done well. I'm not upset with him at all. And I like what he's done so far.
Yeah, I feel like Randall stole some of my notes. That's what I feel like when he made his points there. But like, no, I mean, I can't really add too much to it. But I think the only thing I will say again is to kind of reiterate both of what you guys are saying, just in terms of like just running the depth a little bit more. Just trying to I'm not a fan of doing the whole Coach Tibbs thing where you run them down like a 08 Honda Civic. You know what I mean? Like a winner beater. Like I don't like running your starters to that degree. I'm not a fan of that because it just leads to injuries later on, right?
But do you give minutes as a coach, Rand? Do you give minutes to that player that can't play?
It depends okay. So I think again, it comes down to strategy, like in communication. Like every player has a strength. Like we all know this. Stanley Johnson was probably insufficient on offense. Like I don't even know if you can call it insufficient. Like he just was a negative when he was out there on offense. But yet still, at times you could tell Nurse was like, I don't want you to do anything but run to the corner. But when you're on defense, you got to strap in, right? So give me good 10 minutes to give I do that with some of my kids. I'm like, look, I need you to grab rebounds. I need you to play a good, strong man-to-man defense, help side defense. On offense, just grab offensive rebounds and kick it out. I don't even want you attempting to take a shot because you can't. If you can't in practice, how are you going to do in the game kind of thing, right? So my thing is listen, you give me 10 minutes to give my starters a good break, or within the game so that they're not playing that 30 minutes and it turns into 25 instead of 35. That's good. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? And if it's all about plus minus to me. I'm a big plus minus guy. It's all about plus minus. So if you can sustain whatever the score is or even be a net positive, it's a positive for me. And if the numbers, I always say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. If the numbers show that you are not performing when you step on the court or you're a negative asset, then yes, your ass got to staple to the bench. It is what it is.
With that, so let me add something else too. How does he keep losing to Dwayne Casey all the time like this? Like seriously, like did
Casey's a better coach, man.
Did Dwayne Casey? Did Dwayne Casey take that rock, the rock that he used to pound, and turn it into like Nurse Kryptonite? Like, I don't understand. How is he doing this?
Question is, what happened to that rock? I heard the rock's not there anymore. Did they ship it back to Detroit?
It's got to be in Detroit. Cade Cunningham's probably tripping over it in the locker room at some point, like during the season.
It's probably a pebble right now. Keep chipping away, Casey. Keep chipping away.
You think Blake Griffin blew it up in anger before he left Detroit?
Yeah.
It's just
they kept kicking that rock down the road. It was just, you know what I mean?
They shipped it to 8 Mile.
Shipped it 8 Mile.
No, but it's interesting though, because I like the guy's 8-3 against Nurse. I don't get it, man.
I don't have no answers. I have no answers.
It's hilarious.
It's easy. Casey knows what it's like. Okay, I liken it to a team that you play a lot in the season, right? Like sometimes you have a schedule where you play. Like we played this one team about 4 times, right? And I think we were 2 for 2 or maybe 1 for 3 versus them. And they have no business beating us. But the coach, he played us so much, he knows how to play us.
Yeah.
He knows what our weakness is because he's played us so much. First time we played him, we beat him by 20. We haven't beat him since. And it's more about, it's not about strategy and all that. It's more about exposing us to our weakness. He knows that we're an up and down team, and he's just going to pack the paint and be like, you guys are a transition team. You guys cannot shoot consistently in 3 until you guys can, because you're a streaky team. I'm going to let you guys shoot 3s wide open until you make them. Right? That's all he does. And he has, and he just finds a way to beat us. Right? And Casey, I think he just knows the game inside and out. Right? He knows the game inside and out to a point that, like, I think the first time he played him, it was like easy to beat him when you know what he's gonna do. It's not like he has any magic pill. He's running some of the same plays that I run. He said, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Nurse has changed his style drastically to the point that Casey needs to make all these wacky adjustments because he knows Nurse. He hired Nurse, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the one thing I got a question for y'all is that I was having a conversation with someone else asking, because I think someone was saying to me that Nurse and Casey during the season did not get along. I never heard that. I never heard that afterwards. But apparently something had happened against Cleveland, especially, where they kind of like were.
You talking about
that was the playoffs?
You talking about
I heard something, and honestly, maybe I did know it, but I forgot. But
I think
do you guys remember that?
I think it was the exit meetings from what was told.
I heard that, but I heard before that they had a falling out, like towards the end of the season, where Nurse was like, "Look, I wanna run these plays," and Casey was like, "Nah." And then against Cleveland, Nurse was like, "Look, we got to do this," and Casey was like, "No, I'm gonna take over the offense basically for this series."
Yeah, that was a rumor I heard that Nurse said to Masai, like kind of thing. Like, this is meaning, like, you know, I would like I think Casey felt like he was stabbed in his back, like in terms of like Nurse went to Masai and said, "Hey, he did this, he did that. I would never done that, Masai. I tried to tell him not to do that, not to do this." And I know specifically it was about the playoff. And specifically,
that Cleveland
when
series.
Casey put in Bebe. I never forget this, man. You remember Bebe, the Brazilian?
I remember Bebe.
Of course. Who doesn't forget Bebe? Who doesn't remember Bebe?
Yo,
why they didn't want Bebe in?
No. Nurse did not want Bebe in. Casey just put him in, and it was like a little exchange on the sideline. And then Casey ran down and grabbed Bebe and put him in. And Nurse was like, no. Bebe went on to do like an air ball, missed assignment, turnover, and it was like when it's time for the exit meeting, Nurse was like, "Yo, I'm Casey's killing us." And as an assistant coach, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
As a coach, you bring in your own assistants just so that they don't stab you in your back, right? It's a business. Every team has their own coach. When you hire a coach, the coach has the ability to bring in their own assistants.
It's its own staff. It's your own
And
staff.
the reason why you do that is because so that their assistants do not stab you in your back. Every assistant wants to be a coach, right? Mm-hmm. So if you bring in your own assistant, they know that your boys, your friends, right, coaching, like they've been together for like decades or whatever. Yeah. And you know that this guy's never going to stab you in your back, and they are happy with their role. And that's it for hockey, basketball. They all do the same thing.
It's all sports.
Yeah, but Nurse is starting to get a coaching tree behind him.
What do you mean?
His assistants are branching off, getting head coaching jobs.
But they're getting jobs elsewhere. No, that's something totally different. They're getting jobs elsewhere, right?
You sure you want to count Nate as the tree, as part of the tree?
With the Borkman guy?
Yeah.
Nate,
you sure you want to count him as that?
That guy had a horrible 2 weeks. I'll say 2 weeks in Indy. But the point is, like, because since Nurse was so well, other organizations wanted that kind of brain, right? So they kind of wanted the underlings of Nurse to bring that kind of stuff.
Well, look at Finch, right, in Minnesota, like that. They have him in the 7th spot right now, right, with the Timberwolves, and and they're probably going to make the playoffs. They're pretty legitimate,
which is great, right? Because he's been under the tutelage of Nurse, the champion kind of thing, right? So, but anyhow, that's how it is. So Casey brought in Nurse, and Nurse did the unbreakable rule. Like, Casey would never come out and say it because you can't, because it's like a rule that you don't talk about, is that you don't stab me in your back. I'm your guy. I'm your coach. You don't stab me in my back and go behind the scenes, because every assistant coach is like every assistant coach sees what the coach is doing and they're not 100% supportive of it.
Yeah.
Right? But they have to tell the players, you know what, just keep working hard, do what you got to do, just listen to them. But behind the scenes, they would have done something differently. Yeah. But you can't say it. You can't say it. You got to find line.
What does that say about Masai and Bobby for hiring him then? Knowing you stabbed them in the back. Yeah.
Why that? I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know. What does that say? It says that, and I'm sure Masai knows that culture too, like meaning like that underwritten rule that you don't stab and you don't support,
right?
And he knows
you don't support the stabbing, but at the same time, I mean, we do have a gold ball in the Raptors facility now. So can you get mad at the results at the same time?
No, you can't. But I understand Rand's point. What if they didn't win?
Yeah, true.
What does that say about Masai? What does that say about going because Masai didn't know the rules too.
True, but that's because Randall loves Casey though. That's why I say that.
Yeah, but guys, my point is this: I feel that if Casey was back with the Raptors, with the team he had, with LeBron in the West, I still feel like he would have had that lane to go to the championships. And I'm not saying he would have won it, but I'm saying that he could have done a good job throughout the season as well. Like, I don't think it was like the detriment to Nurse wasn't his strategy. The detriment to Nurse was his substitutions.
To
Casey.
His rotation.
His rotation. That was his downfall. It wasn't his plays. It wasn't his theory. It wasn't his style. Yeah, the ISO and all that. But I mean, listen, I watched the whole season like every other season, and I didn't see that much of a change in their style of game.
It's because most of the time.
Sorry, go ahead, Julian. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as a coach, you generally don't make plays. Like, you don't generally design plays. The assistant coach does that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming it's for all sports. You have an offensive coordinator in football. Hockey is an assistant coach. Like, the coach is just there to lead and rotations and set the starting lineup, and that's it. And time manage, timeouts and whatever, right?
Right,
but
sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it.
But it depends, Julian. It depends on the stuff. It depends on the head coach, right? And I don't know enough. I don't know enough about the dynamics of Casey to say, oh yeah, he does this better than Nurse. I don't, so I can't comment it. All I know is that I've been to a few clinics with the Raptors. They have open clinics for coaches, for like grassroots coaches, and I've been to one for Casey and two for Nurse. And I don't know, like I just, for me, maybe I just felt that Casey was more personable. Like, I understood his theories a little bit better. And Nurse is a great basketball mind. I had a chance to chop it up with him once, and he's a great basketball mind. I'm not going to take anything away from that. The guy knows the game inside and out, and he's personable. You can ask him questions and he'll answer them. I just found that I understood Casey's theory a bit better. You know what I mean? Maybe he communicated better to me. I don't know. But I was able to understand it. And really, honestly, to this day, I still have taken some of the pointers more than I have from Nurse.
You know what though?
I mean, it's preference.
They're both good coaches. Like they both can be good coaches, right? So I don't know.
Look, let me give you guys one before Calvin you go. One thing. KC has had a perennial losing record in Detroit for the last 4 or 5 years.
Well,
and they haven't
last 2 years, yeah.
It's only got 2-3 years.
Last 2 years.
Been there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a little bit longer. But anyway, like at this point in time, KC would have been gone. But they're still holding on because you know what? There's something about his coaching style that I think once they get the pieces together, it will take off. I'm telling you guys.
No, which is very true. Which is partly true. The other reason why, because they don't have the personnel, they don't have the players.
Right.
So what? You can't fire somebody because you made a point that say a coach is only as good.
You just said Nick Birkin. You just said it, Indy. He's terrible.
But they had the players though. They had Sabonis, Miles Turner, Brogdon. No. 2 different teams. Detroit and Indiana had 2 different teams. Yeah. But anyhow, the point is, like the players that you made the point that the coaches, you said earlier, the coach is only as good as the statistics, but it's also only as good as the players, right? So they're not going to fire KC.
I would say as good as their record, not their statistics.
Yeah, the record.
As their record, right?
The record. But to me, that's partly of it.
Because of the players.
Is only because of the players, right? But the point is too, the other angle, you could say, I guess the coach is only as good as its players. But in Casey's case, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, the players were trash. So you cannot fire him knowing that you have a bad 12 players on the team, right? If you have a good lineup, you're going to get fired. Like what's the coach in the Lakers? LA might get fired. The coach there, what's his name? Whatever, right? But the point is that you can't fire Casey because of that. Now wait till Cade Cunningham gets better. They do better drafts. They bring in players that can win, and then if continue to lose,
they made.
Then they will let them go.
Detroit made. I like the moves Detroit has made in this offseason, and I think that I hope they get. This year's gonna be a crap draft, but they're a few pieces away from being. I'm not saying good, but relevant.
Well, let me interject before we move on to the next subject, though.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, first off, the difference between Detroit and Indiana was Casey's not in a situation where his players want to whoop his ass. Like it was getting to that point with Nate and the thing. Like he wasn't like this is his personality.
But that was my point. That was my point. See, my point is that generally he's a player's coach. Like the players, right? So that's exactly what I'm saying. Like the players will actually play for him. The front office tend to like him, right? He's a likable guy, a likable coach. You know what I mean? I think that helps. I think he could be stubborn sometimes and his downfall is.
Right, but I was saying with Nate, though, like the Nate's problem was I think he was too nice. Like he had the assistant coach's mind.
Who was too nice?
No, Nate was horrible.
No, he wasn't.
I know he was horrible, but
pissing off all the players.
Calvin, you said too nice. You said too nice. Nate's problem was too nice. I heard you clearly.
Yes, but
you said too nice.
And
it wasn't too nice. He was challenging players, confrontational when he got there. He felt like, as a coach, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm new here. I'm telling you what you're doing wrong.
I was hearing different. I was hearing he didn't have he just like from day one he didn't have control of that locker room. Like but he
didn't have control. Yeah, he did not have control. You're right. You heard correctly. He did not have control. He didn't. But it's not because he was too nice. He just got there. He was challenging. He said, I think he did, he made new rules, I can't remember what it was, so don't quote me, like no do-rag, and people were just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, that's, no food before game, stuff like that. Yeah. So that's where the players were like, okay, listen, that's not too nice. That's he's just trying to...
You're not established enough to do okay, I
guess I got it.
I heard about that. But let me go to this Casey Nurse thing real quick. So number one, with Nurse and Casey, I understand the Casey perspective because there's some coaches, and Casey's a very good coach. He's a very good, talented coach. But and I know there's some people that believe that if he was coaching Kawhi, he would have won a championship too. I don't totally believe that. Just like I totally don't believe that if Mark Jackson had another year in Golden State, he would have got all those rings too. I don't necessarily believe that too because I think there's some coaches that I'm not saying this for Mark Jackson, but there are some coaches that, from the ground up, they can take you to a certain level. But then once the level gets to that certain point, they can't take you over the hump anymore. And I thought with Casey, those 3 years, the last 3 years that he was there, he kind of showed you that he could take you to a certain point, but he can't take you to the next level. The reason why they were so great offensively in 2018 was apparently, I think Nurse was running the offense. I remember that was a big thing, that they needed to change their ways on offense, and I think Nurse helped open that up. And then I don't know what happened in that Cleveland series, and I'm not saying that Nurse is the next level up. He's the next elite coach, but I mean, clearly something worked. What Pascal had the freedom and the reign to run certain ways. If he was under Casey, just like with Draymond Green's game would have opened up if he was still under Mark Jackson, I say no. I don't think they would have seen that either, right? Because like I said, it's just coaches have a certain way. Casey has a certain stubbornness about him, so that's why I don't think he succeeded. And also, I can't believe 4 years later we're still talking about Nurse and Casey to this degree. It's kind of amazing, actually. It's a little surprising. but let me move on. What's more surprising this season? Seeing the consistency of Gary Trent Jr. or seeing that Pascal has righted himself as a point center hybrid?
Oh man, for me it's Pascal. Okay. Listen, Pascal in the bubble.
You thought he was
I don't
done.
know if you guys remember.
You thought he was done.
I thought he was done.
Of course you remember. Of course you remember.
He signed that contract. He looked like what's his name on Tatum and Brown was making him look foolish in that series.
Yeah.
He was scared. I know he lost his dad, but I thought that wasn't enough of a reason to be this bad.
But he didn't lose his dad.
Was gone a while back.
Yeah, he didn't lose his dad that season.
Fine, but you know what I'm saying? Like his life, like Tampa, like all of these things. I just felt like that wasn't a strong enough reason to fall off the map like that. And I thought it was a mental thing.
Yeah, I agree.
For what he's doing now, I am totally shocked. Like, he should have been an all-star. If he had played the whole first half, he would have been an all-star.
I think
hands
so, too.
Down. Hands
over
down.
Fred? Over Fred?
Yes! 100%. 100%. The way
I like how he's been playing.
You got to see how, I don't know if you watch these games, but, he is clutch. His ISO game is on another level now.
Yeah. No more spin moves. No more spin moves.
He's still doing the spin. No. He's still doing that.
No, but I mean, that's not the only thing in his bag now, is what I'm saying.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. He's isolating. He's one of the best ISO players in the East. I'm telling you, if you watch his game, you can isolate him. I thought he would never be that type of player. Never. And Raptors need a player like that can isolate. And he is one of the best ISO players this season in the East. So for him to do what he's doing, and consistently, right? And he's making passes, he's reading the game. Oh man, I never thought he'd be to this level again. Well, not again, but not be able to elevate from that bubble fiasco for me. And Trent, Trent now, he's another surprise. That deal with Norman Powell now, it looks like an amazing deal. He surprised me. His knock was always that he did not play D. I think he's third in the league in steals.
Yeah,
in terms of
number one in deflections by far.
Right. So
yeah,
and his shot, his game is so he's right there. So it's a good question, but for me, it's Pascal.
Yeah, it's Gary Trent for me. I like how he finished off the season in Tampa, but he's really been consistent. Being that he's he got the bit of the bag. He got his first year of the contract. I keep saying he looks like the Weeknd's cousin. I still believe that, especially his drip and everything else. But honestly, the way he's come in first year into that new contract, I was not expecting that. I just wasn't expecting the way some of those games you see he was coming out 35 points and the shit is looking easy. I wasn't expecting that, man. I really wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him with that.
He's another one of those players that we talked about in that vein of Scottie, Precious. He was a highly touted player come out of high school.
Yeah.
Highly touted. And even in college, he fell drastically in the draft. He was.
Why?
I don't know. He was a primetime player. I don't know. Where did he go to college? Was it North Carolina?
It was Duke.
It was Duke. It was a big
Duke.
Yeah, and he was a big time name coming in. I remember watching him play for Team USA. I like to watch FIBA basketball, and it was Team USA U17 team. He wrecked it. It was I think he had the highest scoring average in That
really?
FIBA. Yeah, man. He was not like he was like a primetime guy. He was a
second round pick, right? He's a second round pick.
Second round pick because he didn't play. He was a one and done, and he was a second round pick because I don't think he had a good season.
Combine. I don't think he had a good combine.
At Duke, that too.
Combine.
But in regards to like, people are shocked he's showing out. I'm not shocked because I knew he was good. It was just a matter of him just being consistent. It's similar in the vein of that. What's his name? Is it Cole on Anthony Cole on Orlando?
Cole Anthony.
Like Cole Anthony, sorry, whatever. I knew that he was a highly touted player too coming out of high school, and he's like similar to Trent, and it's just they need to catch their rhythm and catch the right system and team. And I thought he played really well when he got the opportunity with Portland, especially towards the end as a sixth man.
He did.
You know, he was on that trajectory. Like he's in the same vein like a Norm Powell too, right? They have a little bit of different intangibles, but more of a better attacker down the lane, more athletic. You know,
he's a better shooter.
Was a better shooter. You know, and a better kind of overall facilitator and stuff. But I think we're seeing he came out in the clear because we didn't have to pay Norm all that money, and he doesn't have a timeline either. So.
And you know what though, like, he did show himself in the bubble when he was in Portland. Like I remember that was the one thing. Remember he was one of those players that kind of like leveled up a little bit, even though I know the bubble situation was, looking back on it now, like it was almost like a bastardized version a little bit, but he did level up in the bubble, which it kind of carried over with his confidence. But
yeah, and we paid him.
We paid him. What was it, 54 for 3 or something like that? So like 18. It's that contract looks good now. You know what I mean? If this is what he's gonna be, or if he can get to like another notch above this, I think it's good. Like I think what's interesting though is that like just from the conversation we've been having for the last little bit here, the Raptors, like they get some of these guys who were like they were the blue chippers coming out of high school, coming out of college. Maybe they didn't pan out the way they should have in college, but that's unearthing that gem, right? That gem got dirtied up a little bit now. Now, if we can clean that up and develop it just right, man, that could be something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're finding those. They have like a knack for finding those type of guys and trying to polish it off. It might not be like, it might not be like worth like like a platinum type of gem or anything like that, for lack of a better word. But like it does shine. Like, you know what I mean? By the time they're done with it, it does shine enough where you're like, okay, wow, there's some real value here, but
we have to. We have no choice.
Yeah.
Because right. It's honestly like it's great that we are, but we are fortunate because if we didn't have that skill set of finding these players or these scouts or whatnot, I don't know where this franchise would be because it's hard to attract free agents to come to Toronto. So
let me say this about Pascal though, real quick, before you jump in, Randall. Like, I'm more happy for Pascal than I am surprised because, to your point, like I thought the bubble destroyed his confidence, and I think it took a long time for him to work that out. But you can see towards the end of last year, like you could see he was starting to break down those mental roadblocks. It was starting to happen. The way he finished the season, like it was starting, like the old Pascal was starting to like swim back into the shore. You know what I mean? And now his confidence is back where he needed it. Like, to me, like my favorite game that I watched him play this year is when I believe they beat Milwaukee on the road, and the way he just kept attacking the paint was impressive because I always tell this story about my last Raptors game I watched was like 2 weeks before COVID hit and shut everything down, and they played the Bucks. And I think I told you guys the story. He couldn't look Giannis in his face for the whole 2 hours. Every time Giannis was guarding him, he would not drive. He would not look. He wouldn't even look him in the face. And he was an all-star. He was an all-star starter, at this point. And he would not look Giannis in his face. And, you fast forward to this point now, and he just kept, it didn't matter who it was that was in front of him, he just kept attacking. You know what I mean? So I'm like, his confidence is where it needs to be at this point, which, like I said, I'm more happy for him than I am surprised.
Also, too, we also got to, account for his shoulder,
that too.
Injury, right? We don't know how bad it was in terms of how much it affected his play because he looked like a new person after surgery.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not saying that's a reason why he's playing so well, but I'm sure that's a factor. He had major surgery on his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
So
no more spin cycle Siakam.
I know, it's still there. It's still there. Just selectively. He's just being more selective and in more control. But yeah, you got to see him in the ISO. Next time when you watch him, watch his ISO game.
Now, I got two more questions, then we'll wrap up. But as far as I'm concerned, man, it's Masabi trust all day, every day, right? Ever since he traded Bargnani to the Knicks in 2013, it's all day Masabi trust, right? So when I look at this roster as it stands right now, did he do enough to make this team competitive towards the home stretch? And does it matter if he did or didn't?
Competitive to the warm, for the play, to make the playoffs at least,
to make like a bit of a playoff push.
Well, I think they're going to make a playoff push even if they didn't make a trade or anything like that. I think the question is more of did you do enough to make them go far into the playoffs?
Right.
I think they had a good enough team to make the playoffs. At least I keep forgetting the term. What's the term when you're the 9th or 10th team? It's not the bubble, but
play-in.
Play-in. So I think they're good enough for the play-in, right? So So I think he should have done more. I know that they were active and they were trying. I've seen the Toronto involved in many trade rumors at the deadline. I did see that, so I know they're active. But I don't think they did enough. Drag it. They could have traded him somehow. I know they tried to, but I think we need another ball handler. As you can see, we need a little bit more depth. I do like Thaddeus Young. I don't mind that trade. At first, I did not like trading a first round, but after looking at it and understanding that it was a late first round and we got back a high second round, I think it's only 10 spots down. So it's not really, and it's a weak draft, as you said, Randall. It's a pretty bad draft. So I'm not so bad. I'm not so angry about that. So I like Thaddeus. We do have more depth. So I'm happy about that. But we needed, as you said too earlier, Rand, we need a 5. We needed a 5 ideally, and another ball handler.
I thought we could have got a 5, like a what do you call it, Knicks class? What's his name? Ended up going to Brooklyn. We could have got what's their center, the backup center?
Drummond?
No, not Drummond. Clayton.
Claxton?
Oh, Clayton. Yeah. They did try to get Clayton. They tried to get Porzingis. They tried to get Miles Turner.
I don't want Porzingis.
Yeah, I don't want
me neither. But I'm just saying, I don't either. I call him Bargnani 2.0, to be honest.
Yeah.
But so they were active. I know they are active. I know Masai knows, and I'm sure Nurse is complaining about, I need more help on the backcourt and a 5. So listen, I know they're trying. If things don't work out, you don't force trades to go through. But that being said, it would have been nice. I'm a big Miles. I know it seems like you don't like Miles Turner, but I like Miles Turner.
No, I like Miles Turner.
Yeah,
I like Miles Turner.
I wouldn't mind trading. I wouldn't mind a player that type. So
but
that would have been a great playoff push to get a player like that. To answer your question.
Yeah, but then you're locked in long term. You got to re-sign him, and I don't think the cap. I think there's a few things in play. I don't know. I could be wrong, but there's something about Miles Turner though, and I don't know what it is. It's like 50-50 with execs. Apparently, a lot of execs say that there's something wrong with him. No one wants him. I've heard that a few times now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I can see that.
I don't know what it is, but
he's soft too. He's soft. He's hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He's hurt. He's hurt right now.
Yeah, he is. I have him.
Yeah, broken foot or fractured foot or something.
We could have traded for him, and he would have been hurt without even helping us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who
like
knows,
I said, I have him in fantasy. I know all about him. Trust me.
Yeah, he's like AD, man. When do you pull the anyhow? That's another topic, but yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on AD. My fantasy team will jump on you just for that alone.
Yeah.
I don't want
year in, year out.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, that's my answer.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, actually, no. Sorry, Randall. You answer if you.
I'm with Julian. I think that they're not going to win it anyway. Does it really matter? Right? I think the goal is to get experience with this team and build on that for the offseason. And I think I heard an interview with him. Oh, it was Bobby Webster. He was basically look, man, we could have pulled. They were we could have pulled some big deals that would have potentially been good. But they're midway through the season, was it worth it? We could explore the same deals in the off season if they present themselves, or even go after some. They were just we rather work strategically to make a big splash at the beginning season rather than mid. If you're gonna make a big mid splash, it should be not just to go okay, I want to go to the second round of playoffs. No, it's for he made a big splash to win it. You know what I mean? He made some big splashes with Serge and with Marc Gasol. Those both were midseason trades, and really at the right time for pushes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it benefited more, but I guess what Serge we saw, him coming on board and having more than like half a year under his belt with the team. Because I feel like he built a lot more synergies. So
yeah, no,
I agree.
You're right about that. And you know what? And that's the one thing about this front office. They're definitely not afraid to pull those triggers, right? Like as we see, like the Kawhi trade for DeMar was like the most earth-shattering thing in Raptors history until they won, right? So like you know they're not afraid to do these things, and I agree with you. Like how important is this stretch run really? Do you, like I understand we gave up a first-round pick for this year, but is it worth giving up like a starter or the future for, you know what I mean? Like for this stretch run. I'm a fan of Thaddeus' unorthodox game, you know, and I think he fits in with this whole positionless basketball. He's there to grab rebounds and stuff, but I'm with y'all. We need height. You know, at this stage, if the Raptors are going to be more likely like a quick playoff exit, why make those major moves right now? Just see how it plays out. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
And well, let me ask you guys too, because what do they do this summer, right? Like, you know, you're talking about Miles Turner. Like, obviously they're in the running for him. It didn't materialize, but he's an expiring contract next year. He becomes a unrestricted free agent next summer, right, in 2023.
I heard that he's off the table now. Now that they traded Sabonis, they're keeping him. They're going to keep him. But there's other guys, like we were close to acquiring Pirtle. Bringing back Pirtle.
Right.
Maybe even Valanciunas. I've heard too. Like so, like there's options out there.
Although I see the Pelicans keeping Valanciunas, especially the way he's been playing. It's
just a matter of if there's enough space, you know, up front for Zion, right? So they were saying they were worried about the congestion up front, right? Like spacing. But anyhow, the point is that, you know, as you said, you can revisit this in the summer and see if you can pull some type of deal. But we have to bring in a legit like center though. Like not like an all-star. Like,
I mean, Baines wasn't a legit center when he was coming in. All you guys were happy about that. All y'all were happy about that.
Hey, don't put me in that category, homeboy.
A lot of guys were happy. I think Julian was one of them that was like.
I don't know if I was happy. I was happy that we got a big. I was happy, but we got a big. But there's no way I could have been happy.
I'd rather have got a dishwasher.
Hey, no, for real though. Right. But yeah, we just need like when I mean like a legit center, I don't mean like an all-star center. I mean like somebody who is a five.
Like Julian's boy, like Nurkic. He's a free agent this summer.
I don't like Nurkic though. That's not my boy. He's too slow for this NBA, but he's playing well. Before he got hurt. Recently, but I just don't. He can't play pick and roll. If you guys see, he is slow. He's like he moves like he may be the slowest player in the NBA, literally. I don't know.
But it's slower than Jonas.
Slower than who?
Slower than Jonas. Slower than Valanciunas.
Oh yes. That's how slow he is. He is like in sand. Like he is legitimate slow. But his game, his IQ, and all that offensive game, we all know he can play, right?
His output is better on offense, and so he can outscore his. You know what I mean? He affects the game for wins, man.
It just doesn't. I don't see it meshing well. That's why I keep saying that Miles Turner, somebody that can run the floor.
Miles can't run. Doesn't mean
what are you talking about? What are you talking about for a big man? He runs the floor. What are you talking about? Nurkic and those. But anyhow, so I wouldn't be happy giving Nurkic a big contract or a contract. No.
Yeah, I think with the Raptors, they're a solid big, and honestly, they're a couple of possible developments away from being a serious contender. Like if Barnes can level up, you know, from this year, you know, if guys like Banton can level up again from this year and stuff, and they can get some other pieces, like I think that alone, just the ingrown talent could make it stronger. You know what I mean? Like for them. For sure.
But again, it's like matchups though. You know what I'm saying? And injuries. Like we don't have anything. We can't match. Okay, nobody's gonna match up with Embiid, right? So I'm not gonna say we need a 5 to match up with Embiid, but you still need a big man in the game we can rotate in and out. Birch isn't the answer, to be honest. He's like a backup. And then we get hurt we don't have no guards, man. Like, we need a guard, right? So we need a somebody that can bring up the ball. I'm not a big fan of like the Buddy Hields and stuff like that, but we need another player off the bench that can score and that can do that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Well, here's my last question. What are your expectations of this squad heading down the stretch? Like, as it stands now, the Raptors are in the 7th spot, and they're subjected to play, at least be able to host a play-in game, in the play-in tourney, and they'll at least be hosting the game, possibly 2 games if they lose in the first, if they lose the first one. But with where this team stands right now, is it considered a disappointing season if the Raptors don't get out of the play-in scenario altogether, or at least get the 6th spot as it stands right now? Not your projections from what we know in October, but like right now.
No. Well, I mean, listen. If they finish 6th, I think they've overachieved.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what, Randall? But you know what? At the same time, you know who underachieved that made us finish 6th is the Knicks and Atlanta.
Yeah, no, Atlanta, I would say Atlanta more.
Yeah.
The Knicks, no. I think the Knicks had an anomaly season because everyone had a bad season last year. I don't think the Knicks were that good at all. Like come on. You were shocked. I was shocked the Knicks were winning like that. But I think that's just an anomaly season. I think they didn't make any major moves. All they got was Kemba Walker, who didn't even Fournier. Like, come on, those are not major games.
But you're supposed to build from the experience and build like RJ. RJ is playing better though this year too. To be honest with you, very much so. But okay, what about Atlanta? Like, I'm just saying, like,
no, Atlanta's underachieving. Yeah, I think some of that's predicated to injuries too, though.
Okay, fair enough.
And some of it is like, the Collins Young collabo is not always smooth. Even though they had a good little run in the playoffs last year, it's not like they don't totally get along on the floor. You know what I mean? At the same time too, so that causes some waves as well. Even though he's an all-star and he's getting the bag, right? He's getting that $200 million bag, or not $200 million. He's getting like 175, whatever. He's getting the big bag right now, But so I don't know. But you're right though. Like, I think it's those 2 teams definitely went backwards when we thought at least they'd be maybe in the 6th or 7th position at least. Like, I know I had the Knicks like at least 6th or 7th, right? Yeah.
Not to be this down, and this is why I didn't think the Raptors would be. I didn't think Scottie would be this great, and with what you just said, I didn't think there'd be a 6th place team. I did not think that before the season started. But I'll be happy with the 6th place. Like, if they finish 6th, I think they will finish playoff. Boston is playing well recently now too, right?
Yeah, Boston got it together right now.
Yeah, maybe they finally found a way under their the coach, Udoka or whatever. So they probably it takes time when you're a new coach too. But I think Raptors should finish between 6th and 8th and 9th. If they are healthy and there's no more injuries, they should finish 6th or 7th, 100%. At this point, I think so.
Yeah, I think they stay pat. I mean, who are they going to bump out? Charlotte? No, who's above them? The team above them, I think they can bump.
Right now.
Cleveland, and I think Cleveland has a bunch of injury issues. They're on and off. I think they can overcome Cleveland. I think they're a better team than Cleveland is.
Yeah. Cleveland's playing well though, man. Cleveland looks good.
Yeah, Cleveland looks really good.
But they can beat Cleveland 100%. They can. There's no question. I think any team can beat anybody in the league.
I think they have the experience to beat Cleveland, right?
Yes, that's a very good point. Yeah, they definitely know how to win, right?
Yeah.
Toronto knows how to win. Players know how to win. Like guys like Garland and Mobley and those guys not yet, right? So yeah, you're right.
I think the season is successful either way as long as they make the playoffs. But I'll tell you what though, here's a team I would love to see them play in the first round of the playoffs though. I would love to see them play Chicago. and I know it'll destroy Julian's heart to watch the Raptors team beat his
It'll be a win-win.
DeRozan. But
it'll be a win-win.
But at the same time, like I think the Bulls are good, and like I wasn't with the projections when they came out early in the year, and I was wrong about that. But at the same time, though, I think the Bulls are young. I think they're more so inexperienced in playoff culture. And the last podcast I mentioned, like I was saying, like I want to wait to see what DeMar does in the playoffs, and I'm still mentally scarred from that experience, right?
Listen.
You add the dynamic of him coming back to play versus the Raptors. I think it's, and again, the lack of experience. Zach has never been there. Who's the big man in there? Vucevic. He's only been out of the first round. Ball hasn't been there. I mean, Caruso won a championship, but I mean, he's a good player, good role player. But I mean, you're not depending on him to lean on that playoff experience. He's so young himself. So I think it's a great social experience to have DeMar come back to play against the Raptors in the playoffs with an inexperienced team against a Raptors team whose core won a championship. They're also young, but they also have that experience and that hunger too. I think it's a great playoff experience. But I think if there's a shocker, for them to be a possible upset, it will be the Raptors beating Chicago. And I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that first round matchup, man. I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that. I would rather see them in the second round, if anything. I want Chicago to win. If I had to choose any team out of the East to come out, it's going to be either Toronto or Chicago. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan. I don't like Boston. I like Boston. I like their team. I like Tatum. But I hate them because of the rivalry. Yeah. I don't want Philly. I don't want to see Brooklyn win. I don't want to see Durant and Irving win. I don't mind seeing Chicago win because they haven't won. And DeMar, I want him to prove the naysayers. I want him to prove to himself that he can play at the same level in the playoffs. But at the same time, I'm tired of hearing you guys saying, "Oh, let's see playoffs." Let's just marvel in what he's doing now.
Is he MVP? Is he MVP?
No, it's close, but it's no. Only reason why I say no because he doesn't put up other stats other than he's playing well all around, but Joker and those guys are putting Embiid's triple doubles but anyhow, that's just my thing. But he's definitely in the conversation. There's no question. He should get votes. And if they finish first, and depending on where Chicago finishes or what. He might come close, but he's not your MVP. But yeah, let's just appreciate what he's been able to do. Everybody still wants to not knock, but we're playoffs. We're not talking about playoffs right now. We're talking about what he's doing now in the regular season.
Hey, listen,
this is to you, Calvin. Listen,
I like DeMar. DeMar, but he was also, people sleep on DeMar. He was also first team. Wasn't he first team all NBA?
He still gets hated on regularly. It doesn't matter how many All-Star appearances or how much he improves with each year. I don't get it. I do get it because he hasn't done much in the playoffs, obviously, and he always falls short or doesn't show up on some years. But Lowry didn't either, right? And Lowry was able to win it, played well in the playoffs. So we'll see what DeMar can do.
And look, it could be both things. I could revel in what's happening with it. I enjoy watching Chicago play, but I could also be very cautious. And I'm very cautious to throw it all in right now.
No question that. Yeah,
because 100%. I think it's a bit of a make or break with DeMar. I think if DeMar loses again in the first round. And he doesn't have a great playoffs. I don't know, man. It's going to be hard for him to bounce back from that one.
Well, let's wait till we get there. You can't, but everybody says, we've seen this before from DeMar. No, we haven't. This is one of the best seasons ever. You know what I'm saying? Every year he gets better. Literally. Maybe San Antonio may have a dip or maintain.
No,
but he's getting better.
We improved in San Antonio too because it's all
he
around.
Did too, right? I figured that.
It's facilitating, but I mean, he didn't help the team win, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Well, you got to deal with what you have, man. Murray is nice, but he wasn't as nice as last year. Keldon Johnson, Pirtle was. Listen, you're only as good as your teammates too as well. You can only do so much. But my whole point is that he's still gotten better every year. He's in his 12th year, I think, or something like that. Let's appreciate that instead of bringing up playoffs. But we'll see. It will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens.
But I feel like you're gonna have to have a fainting couch if the both of them meet up in the playoffs, though. You, Julian, I'm talking to specifically.
Yeah, man. I don't want that. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Because I want both teams to go far. I want Chicago to go far and Toronto to go far. Those are the two teams I want.
Yeah, them in the second round. Toronto knocks him out, and then DeRozan gets ridiculed. That's what I want to see. I like the drama.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're rooting for the Raptors if they win. You're happy if they meet up, but you feel very, very sorry for DeMar.
Nah. I want to see DeMar fail and then have his MVP season.
Failing, really, man. The greatest Raptor.
I want to see what Julian's reaction was going to be.
I was going to say you got a lot of mad rapper in you, Randall. Right now.
No. I like DeRozan. I like him.
Man. The man.
I hope he goes to the finals. I like DeRozan. He loves
the city. Guy loves the country. He loves the organizer. He loves everything.
I think he loved it. I think he loved it when he was here. I think he doesn't care.
Of course. He was upset when he got traded. No, he still cares. What are you talking about? He just did interviews like the last couple of weeks or months about how he still talks about how he was upset, how he was traded, and how he wanted to break records and in Toronto and whatever, like personal records, obviously.
Yeah.
He still could do it.
What do you mean? Like if we trade for him back?
No, we'll never do that. But I'm saying
we ain't doing that, right? I mean, we ain't do that, Julian. Stop with that.
You never know. It might come back. I
would love to have him back.
End his career. That would be nice. Like his last year of his career, like whatever. But anyhow.
Yeah, that's another 6-7 years down the line. We can wait for that. At that point, sure. You know what I mean? Or better yet, what I'd love is. You know those situations where you get the legend, you sign him for that 1 day contract.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
So they can retire in your jersey. Yeah, like that. That's cool. I want that for DeMar. Do I want him to come back?
I thought Vince was gonna do that.
Man, the hell with Vince.
Yeah,
listen. I don't know. I'm still bitter. I'm still as if it was like yesterday when he left. I don't know.
Talk that talk.
No. Well, it's another topic. We don't need to go into it. But I always get upset when people have been regarded as like I know he did what he did for the city, the franchise, and the sport of basketball. I would never deny that, but to say he's like the greatest Raptor and like that bothers the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It's the way that you end it. You can't end your tenure with the Raptors on that note and still be the greatest Raptor. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So is Larry the greatest Raptor, or you still think it's DeRozan?
I still think it's DeMar. I don't care if you win the championship. Like I know that's what people are thinking. Kawhi could be the greatest Raptor, or
not Kawhi. Come on, man. Kawhi.
No, some people said Kawhi too.
Nah, he's this is a sip of coffee over here. He played half a season too. You know what I mean?
Listen, it was the greatest cup of coffee ever. It was the
we needed him
cup
for the
of
playoffs.
coffee.
We had the team that can get that was going to be strong without him.
That was Pablo Escobar Nescafe coffee beans that he had with us. Let's not get that twisted.
Well, people
we borrowed him for the clutch moments. We needed him. We needed someone to get us a bucket, and he's a certified bucket.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know. But somebody did say that like Kawhi like one like top 3 greatest Raptor or whatever, because they won a chip. But like, yeah, it's either debatable. It's obviously either Lowry or DeMar in my eyes, right? But to me, it would still be DeMar, personally.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's another debate.
Yeah,
you can put that for another pod, Calvin. Greatest Raptor.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Top 5 greatest Raptors,
and cause a controversy when none of us have Vince in the top 5. We're like Calderon. Well, Calderon really did more. No. He really did more,
You guys think Vince is not a top 5?
I'm joking. I know he is.
I was going to say my opinion is in the minority. I was going to say my opinion is the minority. Everybody speaks highly of Vince and like
no, Julie, we're of the same mind. I listen. I think Vince is the greatest natural talented player that we ever had, but he didn't reach his potential. He did not reach his potential.
Man, come on.
No, but he didn't. He didn't.
No, he didn't reach his.
He didn't reach his potential, dog. He didn't.
He never reached his. He never reached his potential.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is because remember, we were here. You were in the States.
Yeah.
We were here when those first couple of years. When he was like lighting the world on fire,
right.
Like we were here, we saw every one of those games, man, and we was in them streets. We can't get into them stories, but I'm just saying, like, we was here, man. We, you know what I mean. So to watch how that played out, like it leaves some of us bitter. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, I will still always carry a little bit of bitterness.
So time out. Like Calvin Julian, essentially Toronto natives. You're saying that let's say Vince would have stayed and maybe left later, but left more amicably. Yep. Would your opinion of him change?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way he went out was like, I don't know how you unsee that.
Remember
forgive
that time?
You could forgive, but I don't know how you unsee it.
No, but see, remember that time when I think I was down with visiting you for way back in the day when we saw McGrady? Remember we were like screaming at him and he gave us the finger? Remember? So he but
I remember that.
Y'all accept him back and he did the same damn thing.
No, I wasn't. No, McGrady's not on my list. McGrady's not on my list either as greatest Raptor. Like he's not on my list.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like I would have to like he won't be my top 5. Like honestly, those like that's what I'm saying. You have to have a genuine love for the city, love for the organization, fan base. He did a lot for the fans. Like Carter did all that, but he didn't have a love. Like at the end, the way he went out, and it crushed me, man. It crushed me. And the way he did it, like not playing, dunking is overrated, just not talking to the media. And then what we got from that, one of the worst trades in ever, oh, man, that made it even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
but anyhow.
The guy went from, Randall, the guy went from, forget the fact that he was like dunking's overrated and he refused to dunk anymore. Forget that part of it, which was like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The guy went from averaging 16 points a game, or just under 16 points a game. The moment he went to New Jersey, he was averaging 28.
Yeah. He went
like
off.
You can't unsee that. He went from 16 to 28, and he was not injured.
Yeah.
He was not injured. Like I can't. As I said, I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it.
No. And the thing is, he never talks about that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect him to, but you can't expect me to forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like a full pot. Like nobody in the media ever talks to him about it. Like in Toronto, like nobody ever. It's like as if it never happened. And I understand why. You know, in terms of like, you know, he still shows love to Toronto. Oh, another guy I despise. Well, he did like the Raptor game the other day, like on ESPN yesterday or 2 days ago against Cleveland. Like he still talks highly of Toronto and whatnot. So it's like a business standpoint for both, like the organization and media and him. But another guy I dislike is Chris Bosh. Oh my God, don't even mention his name to me either.
Why
Just
Chris
the way
Bosh?
you go out.
What's wrong with Chris Bosh?
Yeah, I mean,
are you kidding me?
What are you saying?
He kept it was the time when he signed to Miami. He was like, "Yeah, Toronto's still an option." Henley always says, "Jules, you're an idiot." You and Babcock, whoever the GM was, you knew full well he wasn't coming back, and he played you like a bitch or a girl, whatever. He was saying that he goes, "You're hurt because he played you. That's why." He had no intention of signing back, and you waited for him to come back, and he never.
It's kind of like Kawhi. And everyone with the Kawhi watch and all that. We all play us all too.
But at least you understand. Like he wanted chips, so you understand. Like with Bosh, I mean, yeah, I remember Henley saying that. That was funny. I do remember that.
Yeah,
that was.
We got nothing for him. We got nothing for him. Not we got nothing. We could have traded him, but like during the end of the season, like if he had just came out and said, "I'm not coming back," he can't say that because he has to keep his options open. But we got nothing for him. And then when he left, he doesn't even like. I don't know.
The Miami guy though, he's really interested in the Miami culture.
Yeah,
his jersey's retired with the Heat.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
You know.
So he's dead to me too. He's dead to me too in Toronto. He's dead to me.
He's dead to me too.
But you know what though? For me, he was never dead for me because I'm like I never saw Bosh as this franchise player. And at the time, you know, the contracts were a lot less, but like compared to what it is now. But I always felt like. Does it make sense to pay Bosh $100 million and he's gonna barely take us to the second round? I'm like, he's basically a Robin. Like we're gonna pay $100 million for a Robin. I'm like, let him go. It's fine.
But
I don't care how he leaves. I don't care if he doesn't acknowledge the Raptors. Like he was basically overcasted in his role. Like he was above his pay grade, and it's fine.
Right.
I was cool with it. Like when he left, like before LeBron got to Miami. Like, remember at the time it was just he signed first, so it was just him and Wade. I was like, yo, let him be Wade's Robin. Cool. I didn't think he was going to be Alfred, you know, by the time thing, but I was cool with it. I was fine. I was more than fine with it. Yeah. That's why I don't hate it personally.
Yeah,
we always had to overpay, though. That's the thing. Like, I expect to overpay for our free agents, any free agent, and our own. And it's not just the play. It's just about being able to attract other. I guess we would never attract other players. But if you don't have a star player on your team, you're not going anywhere. Like attracting players or media or any fans. Like, he brought more. My point is, he brought more to the table than just stats. Like, it was other factors. But I understand. But he's still dead to me.
but it's all good. But I mean, we'll wrap up here. But like basically, so I don't even know how to finish this question really. But like so with the Raptors now winning, we won the title 2019. How far do you think with this roster do you think we get back to those heights of 2019? Just to wrap. But it doesn't have to be anything long. But just.
You know what? I personally, I think we have a core. I think we have a core to build a championship team. Mm-hmm. That's just my personal feeling.
I do too.
It just all depends on who we bring in to add to this core. Yeah. But I think with this core being from that championship winning team, being young, still growing as a core together, it means something. And we have like potentially. We have 2 All-Stars now, like, VanVleet and Siakam. And to me, Scottie will be an All-Star as well. So it's like, that's three stars. And I think in the NBA nowadays, honestly, it's not the 3-headed monster anymore, like the Wades and Bosh and LeBron or Boston with Garnett, Rondo. Yeah. No, I think you just need 2 and a solid, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I feel. So my point, to answer your question, I think we have a core of 3 solid future All-Stars or current All-Stars, and I think we have enough to add pieces to it to compete. Now, Embiid is in the East, Durant is in the East, and I don't think they're going to, they're always going to be relevant, and Tatum and Brown. But I think
and Cleveland, because that Mobley kid. Whew.
Yes, cannot forget Cleveland. You know what? I gotta start remembering to mention their names now going forward.
I forget all the time too.
I know.
Even to the
But
I don't even. Yeah.
But that Mobley kid is a difference maker, man. Like he's a difference from a rookie.
Like
I did not expect
impressive.
it.
No, neither did I.
I'll be honest with you.
But mind you, we did want to get him though. Like coming into the draft, we're like, God, please let us land Mobley. So when we got the 4th pick, it was like, damn it, he's not going to fall too far enough to us. You know what I mean? But with that said, like defensively, this guy's like he's completely changed that team as a rookie, which is insane. And he's still a baby. You know what I mean? So
and Allen played well. You got to give credit to Allen. He's young too, still, right?
For sure. And Garland, like Sexton is gone. For sure, at this point now.
For sure. Oh, yeah, 100%. That's who the Raptors should get. That's who we need, like a scorer.
Yeah, but didn't he want a big bag or something?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if he wanted him to come to Toronto, because I'm telling you now, that guy does not pass to save his life. That's part of the reason why like half the team didn't like him, or like you heard rumors that the team didn't like him.
His personality seems a little bit off. Yeah, he does seem like a little bbit like not egotistical, but like just so like narrow-minded, like on the court. I don't know.
He just wants to score. That's it.
Yeah, he moves so fast. His brain is like a Westbrook, like in a mini type of way, kind of like 2.0 kind of way. But when I say I want him, it's not because I want him to start. I think we need a player off the bench like that, somebody that can push the ball and score and whatnot. So let's be clear on that.
I don't know if he wants to take that role though, as young as he is.
Oh, he has no choice to now coming off an injury, especially.
I know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think the gem, for the Raptors as it stands right now, you're right. There is a core to be a championship team again. But the gem, obviously, I think is Barnes. Like I think the Raptors have a nice mix for their core of guys in their prime and younger players. But like if Barnes could hit those marks, you know what I mean? And it's not a guarantee, but if he can hit those marks of make those leaps with that kind of talent, if anyhow he becomes like a high level all-star or even, God forbid, a superstar, I think the Raptors will win a championship. Like I think there's because we've seen the blueprint of that type of player win in the league right now. Like I think it's he's in the infancy stages, but man, if we can speed up his progress, like if that learning curve could go faster, man, it's gonna be exciting in the next couple of years. It is fast now. Yeah, I agree. But I think, if you can make that go a little faster, and like I say 5 years, but if it could be by 2 years from now, you're like, oh my God, who is this guy? I think the sky's the limit for the Raptors. I
wouldn't disagree.
Yeah, I really do. But yo, let's wrap up this annual edition of the State of the Raptors address as we do every year, fellas. I definitely appreciate you guys, always for rocking for the Raptors in this annual episode, man. It's
no doubt, man.
No doubt. I mean,
I look forward to
it. It's our honor, actually.
It is actually. You know me, I can always talk Raptors ball and dissect and analyze, so it's easy for me.
And 100%. And like I said, Randall, early in the conversation, whatever you want to do with Michael Ealy, man, I got you, bro. What you want to do with this, dog?
I need to buy some green contacts.
What we gonna do, Randall? What we gonna do? Thank you all for checking out the latest episode of the Ave Podcast. As always, the love is appreciated, man. Special shout out goes out to Randall Walter and Julian, a.k.a. Jules Da Commish, for sitting at the State of the Raptors conference table and having a discussion on the Raptors. I just want to give you the heads up. We'll be back next week Friday, or I should say I'll be back next week Friday with a new episode. So 10 days from today. I'm going to be taking the rest of the week off for March break and March Madness. Also, a new episode of My Story will be coming down the pipeline sooner than later, very soon I would say. And the 200th episode is fast approaching of that podcast. So keep your ear to the ground for all of it. Hit that like button, that favorite button, rate, review, and subscribe. And check out the catalog of podcast shows, including all the past State of the Raptors episodes, which I also have tagged in the show description. But you can check it out here at southsharav.com. Once again, that's southsharav.com. For Randall Walter and Julian, a.k.a. Jules Da Commish, this is Cal C. And you just tuned in to the Ave Podcast on South Sharav Radio. All right, until next Friday, peace. Have a great rest of the week. We out.